Good morning and welcome to Today in L.A. My name is Mike Amos. His name is Bill Rice, and his name is Forrest Lee. As we start a Wednesday, boy, it's moving right along. 23rd day of June, and of course, Mike Amos was coming in through the Zoom TV from Graton Beach, Florida.
My house didn't get a whole lot of sleep last night. That miracle in Omaha, Start Vegas. I think it was a party in place last night. You're down 4-0 going into the 8th inning. The guy's got a no-hitter for Virginia, and Mississippi State hits 2 home runs and comes back and wins that huge College World Series game last night. I'll tell you what, man, if you were a baseball fan, you would love that game last night.
It said that 25 of the last 30 teams, or 25 teams that have gone 2-0, later on have been the champion of the World Series. So
keep in mind, Mississippi State has never won a national championship in baseball, as great as they've been.
They've never won a national championship. They're undefeated.
Yeah, they're 2-0. They're going to play North Carolina State. They got 2 or 3 days of rest, and tonight there's a game, just one game, Stanford versus Vanderbilt. Loser goes home. That's at 7 o'clock. And tomorrow night, there's only one game scheduled, Virginia versus number 2 Texas. Loser goes home. So we're in the elimination round with the exception of the North Carolina State Wolfpack and the Mississippi State
North Carolina
Bulldogs.
State's who put Alabama out. And, we all were kind of upset that happened, and they won fairly easily, but maybe North Carolina State might be the best team in the country.
Well, the kid
they put out the number 1 team in the country. They put out Arkansas, who was ranked number 1 and beat Arkansas at Arkansas.
Yeah. So I mean that
Super regional.
Alabama got a tough draw. It looks like getting North Carolina State in the first game.
Isn't it hard to believe that Louisiana Tech hosted NC State and Alabama?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll tell you how you can look at it. Whoever's got the good pitchers left are the people that I think are the favorites.
Well, the kid for UMS Wright Prep, Tanner Allen from UMS Wright Prep?
Yeah, he was the SEC Player of the Year.
Yeah, Player of the Year, played at UMS Wright Prep.
Oh, wow.
And hit a 3-run home run to give him a 5.
The guy that had the big double to put 2 runners on also played at Auburn High School.
Yep.
Auburn High School?
Yeah, Mississippi State.
His name's Rowdy Jordan.
They come over and get Alabama players all the time.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned it a couple of days ago. Next year, out of this class, there are 5 of the top 10 players from the state of Alabama are going to Mississippi State. Top 5 high school baseball players.
He's quite a recruiter, and of course we got a lot to talk about today. Of course, brought to you by Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram trucks on the bypass right here in Troy. And boy, I keep saying this and keep saying it, but they've got some summer savings that you will not believe. It's almost like they're giving away cars at Premier. Of course, Bill Rice, I know we got some things going on with you, and of course, what else?
Well, there's trouble deep in the heart of Texas. The depth chart is changing for wide receivers. Sarkeesian suspended a freshman wide receiver, Kethron Lee, following an assault arrest, and yesterday, Texas junior wide receiver Jake Smith has entered the transfer portal.
Oh, boy.
So they've lost 2 wide receivers.
July the 1st. I found out that this weekend, July the 1st.
Not long, though. It's only about a week.
I imagine their depth chart's pretty thick.
Got some kind of deal.
You know what I call this period between spring practice and the start of fall practice? I call it a rest season. You're always just on pins and needles. How many of your players are going to get through the off season without getting arrested, without getting in trouble?
Hey, in the world of basketball, the Harlem Globetrotters have petitioned NBA Commissioner Adam Silver to become an NBA franchise.
Oh, wow.
So I guess they'll be stationed in Harlem if they get, they want to be a franchise in the NBA.
They're going to bring back Meadowlark Lemon and Curly Neal and some of those all-time greats.
Yeah. Wilt Chamberlain played for them early in his career. They've had 27,000 wins, over 27,000 wins.
Well, how can anybody become an NBA? Can we get one in Troy?
Anybody play that many games?
Let's petition the NBA that we're going to get us Troy wants an NBA team.
And last night, the Phoenix Suns defeated the Clippers. They were down by 1 point, and with less than 1 second, you have hardly any time to get the ball and shoot. So what they did, the inbound player was on a pretty way from the basket. He threw the ball at the basket, and the player just tapped in. It was goal. It's not goaltending because it's an inbound.
Yeah.
It's not an inbound. It's not a shot.
Yeah.
So all that guy did was he threw it over the rim of the basket, and he just tapped it in
Oh my gosh!
to win the game. You know, they ran some picks
Clippers or who won it?
for the Suns.
Suns.
The Suns are up 2-0, and the Hawks, you know, they're playing for a chance to be
That's
in the
going to
NBA.
go down in history. That play you just
They said
described.
they used the record books in their favor, but it actually, the ball was above the rim, the cylinder, and there was a big tall guy for the Suns that just tapped
They must
it in.
practice every scenario, and they probably practice that one. You know, 1 second you can't even catch the ball, you got to score some way. But the odds that you could pull that off, are
You know,
just
it's not considered a shot.
No, because he's out of bounds.
That's right.
Yeah, if he was on the floor shooting, it'd have been a no basket. They would have reviewed
But
it.
it seems like the other team, the defense all they would have done is just put people around the basket, so they couldn't do that. So they messed up.
They did a pick. There were four
Where
people.
does that put them now?
The Suns are 2-0 over the L.A. Clippers.
And that's in that Eastern Division.
That's the Western.
Well, then you wouldn't have been a pick wouldn't have worked. I would have just, you know, what I'm saying. I mean, how far was he from the bucket? He was just a foot away, right?
Well, they started on the free throw line. All the four of them did. You know, the key was he was not near the basket. The guy who threw the ball inbounds, he was almost at the end line. You know, at the corner of the end line, and so he threw it up, and they ran a couple of picks, and he
But
was
I
able
would,
to
I
slide
would
to
have just,
the.
I wish would put three people all around the bucket so that he could have never gotten through those three guys to get close to the bucket, pick or not.
Anyway, and in the Olympics,
You know, they're doing this about one of their best players too. Chris Paul, the great point guard, is out because of COVID protocol, so he's missed the first two games, and they're still 2-0.
yeah. Well, speaking of COVID, I read on Facebook. I have some friends who have COVID. It was posted yesterday, and one of them's on oxygen. I'm not going to mention the name, but one of the guys is probably 55 to 60. Both he and his wife have it. And but in the Olympics, Justin Thomas, there's 4 Americans that will play. You know, in the Tokyo Olympics next month. There's a field of 60, but 4 are from America: Justin Thomas, Bryson DeChambeau, Colin Morikawa, and Xander Schauffele. Dustin Johnson has elected not to play, but those 4 will represent the United
good
States.
for. I like America's chances with those
And
guys.
it was based on world rankings, and it, you know, based upon after the U.S. Open, those guys were able to qualify.
Good for them too. You know, they don't get paid any money. I guess they'll pay their expenses, but to go over there and represent your country and promote the game of golf is what they're really doing. I'll watch it.
And-
Also a Ryder Cup season too, so the big controversy was trying to either decide if you want to go play in the Olympics or get ready for the Ryder Cup. So it's one of those things where a lot of those guys are trying to make up their mind what they want to do.
Oh, America needs to just finally. When was the last time America won a Ryder Cup?
Yeah.
I think maybe 8 years ago. I can't remember.
Yeah, Bruce Willis is coming to Birmingham. He's going to do a movie,
He is.
Die Like Lovers.
Oh, another Die Hard movie.
My wife's probably going to be there if Bruce Willis is. I think
He's 68 years old,
Bruce
66.
Willis.
Bruce Willis is 66. It's not my age that makes me feel old. It's Bruce Willis.
You know, he's a guy that could easily be a.
Guten Morgen.
Go ahead.
Hello. You know.
Bill,
Hey, Will.
calling you from just adjacent to the first tee at the Dothan Country Club, Future Masters.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Great.
better be Whisper.
No, I'm
Good.
there. The first tee off's like in 30 minutes, 45 minutes.
Okay, well, set the scene for us.
I'm in my car, so it's okay.
We still have Mike, don't we?
Are you
Yeah, I'm on.
are you a member of that country club?
Yeah, I've been a member since I moved down here 21 years ago.
That's a very nice.
So I don't want to, some clubs you don't want to be a member in if they let certain people in. Haha.
What do you mean by that?
They let anybody in this one if you got the money.
Well, I tell you this is
Summer starts now with the spectacular summer savings sale. Over 125 new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. All priced to go today. Shop PremierTroy.com and save thousands. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
This is my chart from Southeast Health.
And you're going to want to make it yours.
Not because it's free,
But because it's priceless. Because with my chart, you can schedule appointments online with your provider.
You can email your provider and get answers.
Get test results,
refill prescriptions.
and manage your family's health care.
You know how we all want healthcare to be easier?
but no one seems to listen?
Well, someone did.
Southeast Health.
To get your free My Chart app,
Visit your app store
Or go to southeasthealth.org.
When it comes to surgery, precision is perfection. The very latest technology available ensures the best possible outcome. The Mako robotic arm-assisted surgery system is now available at Troy Regional Medical Center. Skilled orthopedic surgeon Dr. Robert L. Liljeberg and his team provide patients with faster recovery and better movement after a knee replacement surgery. When accuracy matters, you deserve the very best. Troy Regional Medical Center.
Summer starts now with the spectacular summer savings sale. Over 125 new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. All priced to go today. Shop PremierTroy.com and save thousands. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
All right.
back to our show, and you see the pretty guy, the golden boy, Bill Rice Jr., along with Forrest Lee, and of course Mike Amos coming in from Grayton, and Will Matthews.
The sun's out. The sun's out right now. I don't know how long it'll last. It's been raining all week.
Right now, we're loaded to the hilt with Will Matthews there. Will, how you doing?
Doing good. Doing good.
Now, like I was saying, these kids that are lining up now, and I hate to say it, but most of these boys are young kids, aren't they? Will, what age?
Well, yesterday, the 10 and under played, 11 and 12 played, 13, 14. They finished up.
I mean, have you seen some 10-year-olds that can really hit it?
Well, one 10-year-old shot a 69. That's pretty good for a 10-year-old.
No, I do not believe that. A 10-year-old shot a 69?
Yes.
That reminds me of a young Bill Rice Jr. I can see old Bill Rice
I'm going to
Jr.
tell you, though, now, Will, I've heard your golf exploits on this show, which are amazing, but I have never talked about my golf exploits.
That's right. Go ahead.
Circa 1975, who do you think won the fifth flight of the Salgahatchee Junior Invitational Junior Tournament? 1975, Salgahatchee Country Club, fifth flight Junior Tournament, annual Junior Tournament. Bill Rice Jr. won it. And for 30 years, I had that big trophy, and I had that picture of me in the Opelika Auburn News holding my little trophy with the other 4 winners. So that was the peak of my golf career at 10 years old. It was all downhill after that.
Well, yesterday, Justin Houston from Gainesville, Georgia, shot a 69. He's 10 years old.
Oh, God. That Sports Illustrated needs to pick that up.
How important is club speed, Will, as far as these kids go?
It's paramount. about the most important thing, probably.
And some of them can whip it, can't they?
Whip it good. Dum, 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 dum.
You know, what is considered, say, are they swinging at 100 mile an hour?
More than that.
More than that.
120, aren't they? 125, 30?
Well, I know the bigger boys.
I mean, those PCA golfers average like 100, 118, 120.
Colin's son Griff is up there too already. You know, 19 years old, 18.
That's right. Did Griff qualify for the? He's the.
I don't know if he's playing right now, but he played last year in the Future Masters.
That's right.
Now the winner, hey, listen, the 13-14 winner was Jack Roberts of St. Mary's, Georgia. He shot a 67, a 69, and a 66 for 202. That's 8 under par, and he beat Owen Ballas of Shenandoah, Texas, by 2 strokes. And then a guy from Florida came in third with a guy from New York, a guy from North Carolina, and another one from Florida.
Well, it's just
another one from Florida. So that was the way it wrapped up. There were 5 of them tied for third.
Where in the world does the guy from New York play? I mean, they surely don't give up that real estate for golf, do they?
Sure, there's many thousands of courses in New York.
In New York, it must be in a different area.
Well, it might not be New York City. It might be upstate New York or something.
That's what I was thinking.
Well, I guess all the hotels must be full in Dothan this week.
They say this thing is worth $10 million to the local economy every year.
That's really something. So right now,
800. Think about it. You got 800 families down here the whole week.
Yeah.
So it's 800 kids are playing at all the different levels.
Yes.
And then you got like their whole family. You're right. At least 4 of them, probably 2 of them at least. So 800. Let's say each of them have a mom and dad. So that's 800 plus 1,600. That's 2,400 right there.
And some of them have to fly in.
Mama and granddad's gonna be there too, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The winner of the 11-12 was a guy named Miles Russell from Jacksonville Beach, Florida. He shot a 72 the first day and then backed it up with 2 67s. 72, 67, 67, 206, and that's 4 under par.
Yeah.
What's par at Dothan Country Club?
70.
Yeah. Well, that's.
Do they tee out from the whites or?
Yeah, these kids, they put their tees probably from between the whites and the blues.
Okay.
Some white, some blue.
Now something very important. How much is green fee? I mean, what do they have to pay?
To play in the tournament?
Yeah.
I think it's $150.
Is that all?
Yeah.
But it's by invitation only, though, is it?
You have to qualify for it. I mean, you got to be a good player. They don't take just slack players.
Yeah. Okay.
You have to have pay.
Any local players playing in it?
I can look and see, but it looks like everybody's not in Alabama at the top.
Now,
I can remember Hunter Hamrick did well in it one. I think Hunter Hamrick won it in the 10-year-old age division one year, or was right up there.
Don't know. So if you're going to eat a steak tonight in Dothan, you go to Conestoga or the Old Mill? Conestoga, all the way.
Well, you know what? That's brother-sister combination, isn't it? Or do they sell out?
Two brothers own. Well, one of them owns Old Mill, one of them owns Conestoga.
Yeah. Wonderful steak, no question about it. Of course, the show is brought to you by Premier, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks. They're dealing like nobody.
I'm sure all of y'all have been to New Orleans a lot more than I have, but there's several families that own a lot of restaurants down there. Like the Brennan's is a famous restaurant at one time.
That's more or less for breakfast, and that is a big brunch.
I don't even know if it's still open, but
yeah, I think it is.
But that family I've learned has several restaurants. You know,
talking about Hunter.
Well, I know, hey Bill, I know some of them. Now Dickie Brennan, he owns 2 or 3. His sister Lally owns Commander's Palace, which is the best rated restaurant in the world, not just the United States, in the world.
Man, I love it. I've eaten there twice, so I'm glad to tell you I've eaten at the best restaurant in the world.
You're right.
They're rated the #1 restaurant in the world, and Dickie Brennan is her cousin, and there's a lot of, you're right, there's a lot of Brennans that own restaurants down there.
One of my favorite people on this earth is a lawyer, Dickie Calhoun, and he says without a doubt that New Orleans has the best restaurants in the world. Maybe he said San Francisco's close, but
I think he's right. Yeah.
Talking about Hunter Hamrick, he's been named the assistant golf coach at the University of Alabama.
Oh, that's
right.
an opportunity.
Yay for Hunter.
So now we know the rest of the story, why he didn't come to Troy.
That's
Yeah,
right.
it says former Montgomery golfer becomes the tied assistant, and this article's dated the 19th day of June.
All right. So that let's tell everybody that don't know, that most people know, but deep roots in Pike County for the Hamrick family.
And of course, that boy was born with a golf club in his hand, without a doubt.
And the freshman on the team, when he was the team captain in 2012, there was a freshman by the name of Justin Thomas on the team.
Right.
Oh, right. Is that right?
So Hunter knows Justin from way back.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, I'll tell you a little thing about being assistant coach at Alabama. Scott Limbaugh was assistant coach there at Alabama, and Scott got hired as Vandy's coach, and Vandy has won 2 national championships since he got there, and he was assistant coach to the Alabama coach.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
Does this family own Limbaugh Toyota? No, I don't know. I don't know much about
No,
it.
I don't know if that's the case.
Now, did you say that Vanderbilt has won 2 national championships in golf?
Yes,
So-
yes. And Alabama had won one, and in fact, Vandy won the SEC this year, but they lost in match play in the Nationals. In fact, they beat Alabama in the SEC in the semifinals.
Yeah.
And what they do, they play stroke play for 3 days, and then the top 4 teams play match play.
A lot of people think this Alabama coach is the best in the country, and now he coached Hamrick, so that has a lot to do with it. And Hamrick, let me tell you, he might be in the position to one day take over.
Yeah, Pepperdine won the NCAA tournament this year in men's golf.
How did Alabama do this year? Did they?
I can't find that. Have you met the Troy's new golf coach, Mr. Will?
I have not.
You guys need to come on up, and we'll go eat, and we'll take you over there and meet him.
Yeah, I have
I
not.
was with him,
We were talking about win-losses yesterday during the 12 regular season football games, and Caesar Sportsbook has come out with what they expect Alabama and Clemson to do, 11.5. So you realize if you take the under with Clemson, you could immediately win your bet because they opened the season with Georgia.
That's right.
So all they got to do is lose that Georgia game, you win your bet immediately. Yeah.
What did I read something? Maybe I was wrong. I thought I read something about Dabo thinking about retiring. Is that right?
No, I hadn't heard anything about that.
I read a column.
I think that was some Joseph Goodman silly headline. I'm not a fan of Joseph Goodman. He's the lead columnist for AL.com. He's the one that was rallying so hard to get him to cancel college football season a year ago, and I've sent him several emails calling out some of his pieces.
It might have had something to do with Dabo just jabbing at Saban recently about is he going to coach forever. I've told y'all, and I really mean this, I really believe he has the ego and the presence that he's not leaving maybe until he dies. I tell you, this guy is set on winning many more championships.
Normally you would think, no, go ahead and retire when you start getting into your 70s, but it's a different world. I mean, he's going to coach until he's 75, say, or 76. Well, look at all the people in life that are ultra successful and have powerful jobs that are much older than that.
Hey, that's a good topic. Let's get some info on who's the oldest guys out there.
Well, let's mention Warren Buffett.
Well, you're talking about two presidents
we're
that
talking
were
about
75 and 79.
Football. What now?
Oh, football. I was talking about in the public sector, you got Warren Buffett, who is in his mid-80s. Rupert Murdoch, who owns the media dynasty, is surely in his mid-80s. The President of the United States, 38. Probably about 30 to 40 of the senators, U.S. senators, are over 80. Richard Shelby is 85. But I know that's not what you're asking about, but you can see my point, that you can be a CEO, an executive, a manager, a billionaire, and be doing fine. So watching the football.
Warren Buffett's 90.
Well, there you go. Thank you. Look at Michael with that quick research.
Well, Bill Snyder was 78 at Kansas State. Frank Solis.
Who did Mike say was the oldest?
Warren Buffett's 90. Richard Shelby's 86.
I was more concerned about football coaches. Tell me about that.
Well, the oldest coach is what Forrest just said, Frank Solich.
Yeah, he's 76. It's sending me all over the place, this article is.
But, now Solich is, he still looks very fit.
He's at Ohio. Mac Brown is 70. Saban will be 69, or will he turn 70 the 31st?
He's 69, I think, right now.
Yeah, okay.
All right, you got Butch Davis will turn 70 in November. Les Miles.
Butch Davis is that old.
Yeah, Les Miles will be 68.
I think Les Miles is out of here.
Or 69.
Les Miles doesn't have a job anymore.
I don't think he'll have one less than small.
David Cutcliffe, 67. He'll be 68 in September. Herm Edwards, he's on the hot seat. They're being investigated. He's 68. Kirk Ferentz is 68. Terry Bowden, let's see, is 66.
Terry Bowden is 66. Yeah. It's not me. It's not me. My birthdays that make me feel old. It's when I hear people like Terry Bowden is 66.
And Sunbelt better look out, buddy.
How old is Dave Davis? His lookalike.
Who? Dave Davis?
No, President with Dave Davis too.
Who? Oh, Dave.
Yeah.
He always look like Terry Bowden.
Yeah, he does. He's quite. Dave Davis is quite a young man. I really like him.
Did Terry Bowden lose some of that weight? He put on too much weight at one time. I bet he's lost.
Yeah, I was wondering if he lost some of that weight, Mike.
He really blimped up.
But the over/under for Duke in Cutcliffe is 3.5, so they don't expect Duke to be very good.
All right, you can really give us an idea of what people think of these guys by going down the line on some of this. It tickles me.
Mm-hmm.
They got Clemson at 11.5 wins, Alabama at 11.5, Ohio State at 11, Georgia at 10.5, North Carolina at Matt Brown at 10.
Yeah.
They got Coastal Carolina at 11, Cincinnati at 10. They got Miami of Florida, Alabama's first game at 9.5.
Miami isn't bad. Alabama fans shouldn't take that win for granted.
But
I laughed when North Carolina hired Matt Brown again. I thought it was the most ridiculous thing ever. But obviously he can still coach and knows how to recruit.
Yeah, he's got that name and that panache. So I was kind of like you, Michael, but they knew what they were doing. Plus, he knew the area and he was obviously popular there. And
he had that old Texas drawl. He still got that old country boy drawl. People.
Do y'all know where Mac Brown played college football at?
Vanderbilt.
Florida State.
No.
Right.
Where?
If you said Vanderbilt and North Carolina and Florida State, you would both be right.
Oh, he transferred, huh?
He transferred after he got thrown out of Vandy for cheating.
For cheating? Oh, really? Yeah. Okay.
Watson Brown was one of the greatest players ever at Vandy, wasn't
he? And at one time had a great bill of respect as a coach. At one time.
Well, he was a good offensive coach. Watson coached at Vandy for a few years and was horrible. I mean, 1-10, you know, just awful.
Then he went to UAB and was horrible.
You know,
Vegas has Auburn winning 7 games over under. Let's pull up the Auburn schedule. Let's see how
I tell you right now,
I got it.
Somebody wants to get rich.
I got Auburn right here.
I take the over.
All right, Auburn starts with Akron.
Win. That's
Win.
one. Count, you need to count 8 to win this
right.
bet.
All right, let's listen.
All right, Alabama State
Win.
at Penn State
Loss.
versus Georgia State
Win.
at LSU.
Loss.
Home versus Georgia.
Loss.
At Arkansas.
Loss.
Ooh. I'm going to say they win at Arkansas.
Home versus Ole Miss.
Home, yeah.
That's a toss-up.
I'll say they lose to Ole Miss.
At Texas A&M.
Loss.
Loss.
Home versus Mississippi State.
Win.
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 At South Carolina.
Win.
Win.
Home versus Alabama.
Loss.
Loss.
How many? That's probably. How many did we? What was
All right,
it? 6 or 7.
Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 losses if you count Arkansas. You got, Penn.
I think they'll go. 7-5, 6-6.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll go under the 8, whatever it is, under 8.
Under 7. So the bet seems here to be under because if they win 7, it's a push. You don't win or lose.
I'd go under.
What, under 7?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they'll be lucky to win 7.
Now, I tell you what, I think they'll be a lot better than people think, though. It's just...
They'd be better, but they don't have any players. I mean,
All right. I'll be a contrarian. They'll beat Penn State. I'm scouting Penn State, and Penn State was not good last year. I mean, Auburn's going to have as many good athletes as Penn State. So right there, that probably gets you over 7.
At Penn State.
Mm-hmm. But don't. Why are people afraid of Penn State and think Auburn can't beat Penn State? They can beat.
Penn State's going to have 100,000 people in their stadium, so that's why I go with Penn State.
I'm wondering if they're playing at night. I'm sure they are. Let me see if I can find that.
It was voted the hardest place to win in the world, in the country, in football. Penn State was.
Really?
Yes.
They got
It really just comes down to quarterback play. How Bo Nix responds to the new coaching staff.
Yeah. Because Bo Nix is the secret to all of Auburn's success. I mean, really, if he does real well, they could win 8 ball games.
They play at 6:30 p.m.
Let's pull up LSU's schedule. They got LSU at 8.5.
All right, I got it. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, at UCLA.
All right, first of all, let's tell people what we're doing.
All right, we're picking.
This is over-under out of a Caesar Sportsbook in Vegas. Your 12 regular season college games, they have what they're predicting win total to be. So you either go under, say it's 8.5, you're either under 8.5 or you're over 8.5 as far as win total.
Right, you make a bet over or under. So if you go under 8.5, you're saying that LSU is only going to win the most 8 games.
So if LSU goes 9-3, they win the bet. They win 8.5.
That's
They're
there.
over 8.5.
All right, first game at UCLA.
Man, UCLA was a lot better last year. I say LSU's got too much talent.
And they're playing at UCLA now.
Yeah, at UCLA.
So that's the wee hours of the night for most people.
All right, then
I want to say upset UCLA.
Then they play home versus McNeese State.
Win.
Win.
Then at home versus Central Michigan.
Win.
They play at Mississippi State.
Win.
Win.
But not a sure thing.
Home versus Auburn.
Win.
Win.
At Kentucky.
Win.
Win, but not a sure thing.
Home versus Florida.
Loss.
I'll say loss.
Oh, I don't know.
I think they lose to Florida. Florida's going to be good this year.
Home versus Ole Miss.
Win.
They beat Ole Miss last year. I'm gonna say win.
At Alabama.
Loss.
Home versus Arkansas.
Win.
Win.
Versus Louisiana Monroe at home.
Win.
Win. You got a pretty easy schedule.
Home versus Texas A&M.
Loss.
Catch up on that.
Loss.
That's a toss-up, but I've got them already 9-3.
Oh,
And the best 10-2.
Oh, I think this is a strong under. This is I like this exercise because I've already learned that LSU under is a great bet. Louisiana Monroe over. Auburn over.
You know, Ole Miss plays Liberty
like
this year.
Every year with LSU, do they have a quarterback? Can they got a winning quarterback?
Yeah, I think they found one. Brad Johnson looked really good late in the season.
He did, the lefty.
Of course, his dad was a pro coach and a player.
Won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Played at Florida
Here's
State.
what I bet on these things. I'm betting on the coach and the trends of the program, and I'm saying that old Cajun Tiger, whatever his name is Gene Chizik, Mike Dubose waiting to happen. And then we have seen it started to fall apart last year, and it's going to continue to fall apart this year.
All right. You know, Tennessee plays South Alabama this year.
Yeah. At Tennessee, though.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know.
Tennessee
probably.
You want to do next? You want to do Gus Malzahn in Central Florida? They're at 9.5.
All right, yeah, I like
Have you got his schedule pulled up?
And that's where they're going.
I don't have it pulled up.
I got it. I'll get it.
Let's do this then. Let's go around and do Georgia.
All right.
10.5.
All right. Here's the Georgia Bulldogs. They open up in Charlotte, North Carolina versus the Clemson Tigers.
Ooh.
Win.
If it's the same Clemson I saw last year, I'd say Georgia wins.
Okay.
Yeah.
UAB, University of Alabama at Birmingham.
Win.
Yeah.
South Carolina.
Win.
Win.
At Vanderbilt.
Win. Sorry, Will.
Let's be more vocal now. Let's do it.
All right. Arkansas.
Win.
Win. Okay, here we go. At Auburn.
Win.
No, I got them
winning.
Losing at Auburn.
No, Georgia's going to whoop Auburn, I think. All right.
Kirby's had Auburn's number.
Yeah. What about we got Kentucky at home.
Win.
Win.
All right. Florida at Jacksonville. They got 2 weeks to prepare.
Win.
Yeah, I like them to beat Florida.
Okay. Missouri at home.
Win.
Win.
At Tennessee.
Win.
Win.
I'm telling you though, everybody just laughs at Missouri, but Missouri can be very tough.
Yeah.
Charleston Southern.
Charleston Southern. That's gonna be a toss-up.
That's 1AA team. Yeah.
By the way, these games are going to disappear in about 6 or 7 years. These games against the Charleston Southerns and the Central Michigans.
At Georgia Tech.
Win.
So they will run the tables.
They're going 11-1. Jump on Georgia 10.5 for sure.
Yeah, that's
right.
right.
Go undefeated.
Yeah,
they could.
They beat Clemson, they'll go undefeated.
That's right.
And they are loaded, according to my football magazines I've been reading, with talent. Jump on Georgia.
Matt Powell does not think Kirby Smart's a good coach, though.
Well, that's right, and he's usually right.
There you go.
He was right about Matt.
He's right.
You got to like Georgia at 10.5. Let's go to Texas A&M. They're 9.5. New quarterbacks for Jimbo Fisher. Kellen Mond is finally gone.
All right.
A&M fans have got to be happy about that.
All right. Texas A&M, Kent State.
Win.
Home versus Colorado. No, in Denver. They play Colorado in Denver.
Win.
They'll win that game.
New Mexico.
Win.
Texas A&M will play Arkansas at Arlington.
Win.
They'll play home versus Mississippi State.
Win.
home versus Alabama.
Loss.
Loss.
Win.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I got it wrong.
Texas A&M?
I was wrong.
Texas A&M's going to beat Alabama? I got one. Texas A&M's going to lose to
Are they
Alabama.
playing at Texas A&M?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they're playing at College Station.
And there's no
That's gonna be a
break.
tough one.
It's a tough one for Bama, but, you know.
There's no break between the Mississippi State game and the Alabama game for A&M. Neither would it be for Alabama. All right, after Alabama, they're at Missouri.
W.
Tough game, but I think they'll win.
They'll be home versus South Carolina.
W.
They'll be home versus Auburn.
W.
Win.
Then they will be at Ole Miss.
That could be. I'm gonna say Ole Miss.
I think they'll lose.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Ole Miss beats them too. I like Ole Miss a lot.
They're playing at home though. Against
No,
them?
at Ole Miss.
Oh yeah, you're right. I like that too.
All right, then after Ole Miss, they have Prairie View A&M.
Oh boy.
Wow.
Oh boy.
Did y'all hear all these games against the mid-majors and small teams? There's 3 of them every one of these teams usually play, and then this just we better hope that keeps happening because Troy is getting to play these big programs, but
All right.
that's going to go away.
Then the last game that Texas A&M will play regular season is at LSU.
Loss.
That's the last
That's
game.
a win. I think Texas A&M is also loaded. They've been recruiting great. Jimbo is not a bad coach. That's an easy over right there, Texas A&M. Jump on them.
I got them. See, I disagree. I got them 9-3. I got them losing to Alabama, at Ole Miss, and at LSU.
Well, I'll say this: those are probably the top 3 teams. There is A&M, Georgia, and Alabama. Those are 3 good football teams.
Yeah, that's a good, interesting analysis.
Well, let's talk about Ole Miss. We've been talking about them so much. What do we think on the Ole Miss Rebels playing Kiffin's second year? Ole Miss is 7.5.
All right. They open up in Atlanta September the 6th. Is that a Monday night?
That's Monday, yeah.
They're going to open up versus Louisville.
Win.
Win.
Okay.
Even though Satterfield's a good coach, though, at Louisville.
All right. Then you're going to play Austin Peay.
Win.
Let's go P. Let's go P.
All right. Then home versus Tulane.
Didn't Troy play Austin Peay a couple of years ago?
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, Tulane. You said it's the third game.
That's third game.
Win.
Yeah, so they're 3-0.
I bet Mike will remember this. Austin Peay's greatest basketball player. Who was it?
Fly Williams.
Fly Williams. The fly is open. Let's go P.
All right. Then they have 2 weeks to prepare after Tulane. They've got 2 weeks to prepare at Alabama.
Loss.
They could have a year to prepare. Couldn't win that one.
I don't know.
Alabama couldn't stop them last year.
They're not going to be able to stop them this year, probably.
They outscored them.
What about?
Let me interject this. Remember 1 year Ole Miss lit up Alabama when they had Hugh Freeze as coach, and everybody said, "Oh, the next year they ain't no Alabama's going to get them. They'll have revenge." And the next year Ole Miss beat them again.
All right.
That game, yeah.
Can I have one of these
That was
things?
that fluke play beat Alabama that game.
All right. I want Will Matthews to listen.
That deflection.
I want Will Matthews to listen to this one. Florida State. I want you to listen to this schedule.
Let's finish up Ole Miss.
I didn't know we were still on Ole Miss. I'm sorry.
All right. Well,
all right. So we're at Tulane. We got Ole Miss 3-0.
Then,
next?
Then at Alabama.
All right. Alabama beats them.
Home versus Arkansas.
They win.
Win, I guess.
At Tennessee.
They win.
Win.
Home versus LSU.
I think they beat them.
I had them beating them.
I'm gonna have them beating them.
What about at Auburn?
Loss.
I had them tossed up on that one, but I'm gonna say loss here.
Where they play that game at Auburn?
At Auburn. All right. The next week, home versus Liberty.
Liberty.
Boy, Liberty.
Get him, Liberty.
Wow, Ole Miss is going to play Hugh Freeze? Wow, that's amazing.
Right, former
That's
coach.
right. At Ole Miss.
That sounds like a Liberty victory to me.
That would
Who
be something.
got Liberty Balance? He was the bravest of them all.
That was
All right.
All right, Ole Miss, all they got to do is get over 7.5. I've got them leaning that way.
All right.
What's the rest?
All right. Home versus Texas A&M.
Loss.
I had them beating A&M.
All right. Home versus Vanderbilt.
Win.
And at Mississippi State.
I think
Win.
they'll win that one.
Shoot, I got them going 9-3.
I
think that's about right.
So you got Ole Miss is over.
I like Ole Miss. I like Ole Miss at 7.5 a lot.
We'll talk to your man, or go to Biloxi.
All right, Mike Amos wants to hear about
All right, then let me. Florida State. The more I read about them, the key I reckon is Mackenzie Milton, who is the transfer from Central Florida that everybody's talking about at Florida State. If he has a big year, Florida State could be 8,
How about this?
9 wins.
All you got to have, Dad, is 6 wins, 5.5 at Florida State, Vegas.
Gosh, how the mighty have fallen.
I think Florida State will easily get more than that.
I do too.
Well, let's do the schedule and find out.
All right, playing at home to Notre Dame.
Loss.
Loss.
All right, playing at playing at home to Jacksonville State.
Win.
Win. Playing at Wake Forest.
Win.
Win, yes. Playing at home to, what is this, to Louisville? It is at home to Louisville.
They beat Louisville last year. I'll say they beat Louisville.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, close though.
All right, again at home to Syracuse. Yes, win.
Win.
All right, at North Carolina, I'm gonna pick a loss to North Carolina.
Okay.
Loss. Yeah.
All right, UMass win. At Clemson, loss.
Yep.
Playing at home to North Carolina State. It's gonna be close, but they'll win that, I think. All right. Miami playing at home to Miami. I think they beat Miami.
I'm gonna say loss.
I don't say they.
No, I've done a lot of research on Miami. They're good. They're better than Florida State.
Then at Boston College, they should beat Boston. Well, that's a good team, but I'll take a win at Boston College.
But how many wins you got on
And they
that?
got one more at Florida, and they'll lose.
I'm gonna say loss.
All right.
I got them going 7-5.
You got
I
another.
agree with Michael. I like Michael on that one.
So Florida State is a good
I've
over.
got them going 9-4. What is it? Or what is that?
It'd be 9-3 if you do 12 games.
That's right.
If you guys want to make a legal bet on these things, I'm going to Gulfport tomorrow, and I can make your bet, get you a ticket, and mail it to you. And then you can hold on to it till the end of the season.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
You get some wiggle room though with that 5.5 at Florida State. All you need is 6.
I'm saying that they go 9-3. That's real good for Florida State.
Michael, I assume bowl games don't count either.
no.
No, this is only the 12 regular season games.
Regular season games, yeah.
Can I have this one?
So much improved Florida State, but the key is their quarterback, who some people think is the best quarterback in the country. Have y'all ever heard that?
Is Alabama 11.5 for real?
Yep.
Yeah, Clemson and Alabama are 11.5.
Well, they've got to go undefeated for you to.
And you know something, y'all.
I mean, you might as well just take Georgia, and you can win your bet immediately.
I'm gonna tell you this: Clemson. Mark this down. Clemson will not be near as good as people think.
Mm-hmm. Well,
that was not a Clemson. That was not a good Clemson team I saw in the playoffs.
But don't
Let's
think.
take our first break.
Okay.
All right, let's go on break. We'll be back after these messages.
And I wonder if Mac's gonna call it.
Summer starts now with the spectacular summer savings sale. Over 125 new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. All priced to go today. Shop PremierTroy.com and save thousands. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
This is my chart from Southeast Health.
And you're gonna want to make it yours.
Not because it's free,
But because it's priceless. Because with my chart, you can schedule appointments online with your provider.
You can email your provider and get answers.
Get test results.
refill prescriptions.
And manage your family's health care.
You know how we all want healthcare to be easier?
But no one seems to listen?
Well, someone did.
Southeast Health.
To get your free My Chart app,
Visit your app store or go to southeasthealth.org.
When it comes to surgery, precision is perfection. The very latest technology available ensures the best possible outcome. The Mako robotic arm-assisted surgery system is now available at Troy Regional Medical Center. Skilled orthopedic surgeon Dr. Robert L. Liljeberg and his team provide patients with faster recovery and better movement after a knee replacement surgery. When accuracy matters, you deserve the very best. Troy Regional Medical Center.
Summer starts now with the spectacular summer savings sale. Over 125 new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. All priced to go today. Shop PremierTroy.com and save thousands. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Horrible elevator experience.
Back to our show brought to you by Troy Bank and Trust Company. Troy Bank and Trust Company is the only bank you'll ever need. Located in 14 different areas of the state of Alabama, and they're doing business as we speak. Of course, Forrest Lee coming in here. We got him at guard. I got Forrest at guard 5'7" and 314.
Forrest, what else did you play football? Did you play any other sports?
Basketball and baseball.
You played them all?
He was an athlete. I'm just throwing that out, playing with him.
Do we still have Will on?
No, Will left us. Will Matthews.
What position did you play in baseball?
Left field.
Left field.
We could do Vanderbilt at 3.
Oh boy.
You know, I wish we wouldn't do this because now you've got me thinking, I got to play some games, but I told you I did this like 2 years ago, and my batting average was about 75. I bet about 10 different teams on these over-unders, and I think I hit about 75% of them. So.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, we've talked about this. Remember Florida State, they're going to be much better.
That's what you're trying to say is who is going to be much better than people think and who is going to probably be much worse than people think.
Interesting to me is Louisiana Monroe at 1.5. With Terry Bowden as the head coach, Rich Rodriguez as offensive coordinator, I got a feeling they're going to win in at least 2 games.
I do too. I mean, their schedule must be tough, and if we went through it, we might change our opinion. But
and I'll tell you this: Michael and I have seen this team, this Louisiana Monroe team, come in to beat Troy. They weren't supposed to. You know. What now?
It's a very hard place to win.
Yeah. All right. Tell us about them.
Well, you know what this is? It's an exercise in statistical probabilities because you look at some of these games and you might say, we're saying win or loss, but you might really say, well, they have about a 80% chance of winning that game, or that one they might have a 20% chance. But if you got a lot of games where they got a 50 or 40 or 30% chance of winning, they're going to win a couple of those in the season.
I want to say hello to Thomas Walker this morning, one of our favorite viewers of this show, and one of my very, very, very good friends, Thomas Walker.
Hello, Thomas.
And also,
we need to start with La Monroe. La Monroe is 1.5 Vegas over under win total. They will start the season at Kentucky. Loss?
Yes, yes.
Loss, but no. I mean, I wouldn't be stunned if they pulled an upset, but yeah, loss.
Now they will be back home, and remember this: they can play a 1AA school. They'll play a Deion Sanders led Jackson State in Monroe, Louisiana.
Louisiana Monroe will win. Louisiana Monroe will win.
Ooh, that's a good tough one. Toss up, but
Jackson State, Deion Sanders recruit a lot of good players. So I'll say they win that at home as well. So that's their one win already. So now you need one more win.
that's right. Good analysis there, Mike.
Troy travels to La Monroe on the 25th.
That's a loss, but it could be a win. So that could be you could win that bet by the third game of this season.
It's going to be that'll be a good one.
It's just like to lose to La Monroe. There's going to be a lot of upset fans in Troy.
That will not be good.
Especially going into his third year.
But no, that's a loss though. Troy's going to get that.
I think Troy will beat them. They play at Troy.
At Coastal Carolina. No, it's at La Monroe, John.
Oh, Troy at La Monroe. That could be
Have you been to La Monroe many times?
Oh yes, I've been there 2 or 3 times.
It is an ugly facility. It's out in the middle of nowhere. It feels like.
And it's got that old ugly burgundy color uniforms.
That's what the impression I get is it's not very beautiful.
It's not a very beautiful.
It's not Troy Veterans Memorial Stadium setting, is it?
But you know, but they've got pride. They've got pride. I'll tell you that.
All those Cajuns, they're hardcore.
All these Louisiana teams play hard.
We're going to say Troy wins. So they're 1-2. At Coastal Carolina, lost.
Lost, yeah.
Lost.
Home to a very good Georgia State team.
Lost, but easily could be. I wouldn't be stunned if they won.
Are they playing at home? You know, every one of their home games they got a shot.
Yeah, Georgia State's got that quarterback coming back, and they're a really physical team. I think they'll beat them. Liberty comes to town. Liberty will win.
Get him, Liberty.
I tell you what, you know, for some reason I don't think Liberty's going to be quite as good as they were last year. I think they snuck up on a bunch of teams.
Me too. I bet go under on Liberty, whatever they are.
Mike, what makes that?
Malik Willis is a really good quarterback, though.
Yeah, still.
I mentioned this, Mike, the other day when we had a shot at Kip Lindsey on an interview. I asked him that question. I said, "Did you coach the Liberty quarterback?" He said, "Yes, coached him for 2 years." So our guy knows a lot about him.
Well, I got Liberty winning. Now, this is the game that could be the upset. You got a first-year coach at South Alabama. South Alabama will travel to Monroe, Louisiana on October 23rd. It's just where they get their second win.
You know, they might get South Alabama.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be, but they might.
They might. That's right. I'm going to go ahead and say yes.
All right, then at loss, at Texas State loss.
Wait, why do you say at Texas State? Guaranteed. Texas State's no mega power.
You're right.
Texas State got a lot better last year. I know that they didn't prove it in their win-loss record. They almost won at Boston College. They got beat in the last second.
Okay.
They should have beat UC San Antonio, who had a really good team.
Yeah, you're right.
They were a lot better last year than people think.
They were.
Arkansas State will travel to Monroe. First year head coach Butch Jones. Will that be the loss?
That could be. It could be a loss.
No, but I got to think that Arkansas State's going to win that, so that's a loss.
But they play at La Monroe.
Yeah. and then at LSU a loss, at the Raging Cajuns of Lafayette a loss. So where does the second win come? Does it come against Troy? Does it come against South Alabama? Or does it come against Arkansas State at home?
I think South Alabama is the easiest one.
The second win.
Yeah, the second one.
They're trying to get over 1.5.
Yeah.
There's a couple of games that they got a shot at.
Here's what I'm betting on.
It would be crazy not to take this bet.
Louisiana has got great athletes. I don't know who their coach is, and I know they've been down, but I think they're not that much below all the other Sun Belt teams. And they can.
Their coach is Terry Bowden.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Now Terry Bowden had a year or two at Akron where he won probably 1 or 2 games.
Look at his record. Except Akron, he's had a great record.
Yep.
But,
so he knows football.
I gotta think they find a way to get this.
I do too, Michael. I'm with you.
What, you mean Lama? You still working on a win for La Monroe?
Well, I know. I mean, I feel like if you beat Jackson State,
I think you have.
You'll win
get
there.
one win in the Sun Belt.
I think you've got us a good bet there.
Saying that they won't or what?
I think that they're going to be over.
I'm saying they'll get the 2 wins.
I think they
All they
will.
got to do is win 2 games.
This is like shorting the stock. You look at programs and you say, "Wait, their stock value is way too high. You need to dump that stock or bet that it's going to go down," which is a short. So I like these.
I think it might be the best bet out there. Monroe team winning. All they got to do is win 2 games.
People watching that
right?
We have people watching that are big investors, and they'll know that you can. You know how one way you can beat the market and get rich. It's not by the market going up. You bet that the market is going to crash, and when nobody else is making that bet. Have you seen the movie or heard of the book, The Big Short? People made tons of money by knowing that we were getting ready to have this mortgage crisis and that these mortgage bonds were way inflated, and so they shorted the heck out of those markets. And the bets we're talking about right now is really the same logic and thought process we're doing.
While we're red hot here, I'd love to look at Troy in this perspective. Boy, that's going to be close with Troy, Mike. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Troy at 6.5 is surprising to me. I thought it'd be more around 6, maybe even 5.5, because you're coming off 5 and 6 and 5 and 7. Chip Lindsey's first year. So
let me make a point about this.
6.5 wins is going to be very tough, but we can go down it.
Well, this is also like football game lines. These numbers will change according to how much money is coming in. So if you get a number that you really like, you better jump on it now, because you say it's Troy 6.5, it might go back to 6.5. You would want to go under, say. Well, in a week or two, this number might be 6 instead of 6.5.
Now, when that game day comes, wouldn't that over and under be not just the
it's locked
score,
in
not just the score, but the game over and under?
It's completely different. These
are called futures.
Yeah.
So these are future bets. You have to go ahead and place them now when they put the wager out.
But I'd love to see Troy here. Now, let me tell you one thing about Troy. Defensively, they've got 4 potential All-Americans. I'm talking about defensively. They want 2, and 2 of them are down linemen, and 2 of them are linebackers.
All right.
So the kid from Auburn, the transfer from Auburn,
I would say All-American.
Here's the point for going over on Troy, and I have researched this, Michael and Mike.
I know, yeah.
Look, when you do these bets, look at the season before and look at all the games that they could have won, that they were in. And so a lot of the perception of teams is based on their previous record, but if you look closely, you'll say, well, dang, that team, had a 5-6 record, but it easily could have been 8-3. I mean, in other words, they were a better team than their record indicates, and Troy falls in that category, man, because Troy last year lost 4 games that they could have easily won.
Let me tell you this: I've got, and everybody talks about, Troy, with Southern, they'll win that, and then the next game with Liberty, I think they'll beat Liberty. I like Troy to beat them. The next one scares me more than any of them is Will is quite a coach at Southern Miss.
Yeah, Will Hall.
Will Hall, former Livingston coach or West Alabama coach, led them to some championships and played on some teams that won 3 straight national championships at University of North Alabama. But
yeah, he won the Harlan Hill Award. He also had great teams at West Georgia. He did well there, and then he was been the offense coordinator at Tulane the last few years.
And then just look, y'all remember how good they were,
Troy beat Southern Miss last year.
Yeah, they're playing. All right, I'll tell you this.
Southern Miss beat Troy Lindsey's first year.
Yeah, and that's going to be a great game. You know what? This could be
Troy beat Arkansas State.
I think they're going to drop one of these, and I'm going to say it's to Southern Miss.
Okay. Hope you're wrong, because that is the.
I will flip flop there. Southern Miss won 1 game last year,
They
I'm going
did.
to say they lose to Liberty and beat Southern Miss.
Mm-hmm. Troy is when Troy went Division I. Who did everybody think about this? When we were thinking, well,
Southern Miss.
We might have a chance to do this. Everybody thought, well, we can become another Southern Miss.
That's right.
And so it's always been the standard and the model I gauge Troy against is Southern Miss.
That's right.
Dad, you'll think this is funny. I ordered Dad the Phil Steele magazine yesterday, and I ordered it
on my Father's Day present.
Yeah, good.
On my birthday present.
So I'm paying for all the information. The more I'm hearing the guy over the phone that's taking my call, I'm like, I've heard this guy's voice on the radio several times. I didn't ask him, but I'm almost positive it was Phil Steele that was taking all my information.
Phil Steele himself?
Yeah, I'm almost positive that was Phil Steele.
He's got a small
voice I was talking to over the phone that was getting all my information to order the magazine.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Isn't that amazing?
I got the magazine sent to your house in Troy, Alabama. You should have it by Friday.
Okay, I look forward to it. And that Phil Steele's magazine, which is
I
considered...
will say it's over $25 to get Phil Steele's magazine.
Oh, man.
It's worth it, though.
Uh-huh. But we're still on Troy. Let's look at them. Take over, Rice, on this.
All right, Troy's 6.5. You got to win over 6.5. You got to win 7 to win.
Let me do this. Y'all been having fun doing this. I want to talk this through. All right. So we've talked about Southern. We've talked about Liberty. Get him, Liberty. That's from the movie Liberty Valance.
Right. They'll lose one of those games.
All right, Southern Miss. So we've got difference of opinions on those games. Then we go at Louisiana Monroe. Which, what do y'all think? Will Troy
They should win.
All right.
Troy should win that game, yeah.
At South Carolina Gamecocks.
I pick a big upset here. Let me tell you this. Who is Bennett? Who is this Bennett from Opelika? From Opelika High School. So Troy's quarterbacks line up straight up with him always, Mike.
Jake Bentley transferred from South Carolina to Utah, was starting quarterback in Utah. Left Utah, is now the starting quarterback at South Alabama.
I know it, but what do you think about him? Do you think he's that good?
I'm just saying he's not at South Carolina.
Well, I know he's not. That's right. You're right. He used to be at South Carolina. He's now at University of South Alabama, not South Carolina.
He's moved around a little bit.
I think Troy's going to win that game.
All right.
I will say this: Will Muschamp recruited too well. There's athletes in South Carolina. If Beamer's any kind of coach, he should beat Troy.
Okay. Now Georgia Southern. It's in Statesboro, Georgia. They got a uniform just like Alabama, except it's blue.
Wait a minute, Troy played at Statesboro last year. That's not at home.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's in Troy.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take Troy to beat them at home.
Mm-hmm. All right.
And that's the
Troy had that game won last year.
Oh yeah.
That's what I said. Troy had 4 games.
And just gave up a long run of about 75 yards for a touchdown. They just crushed them.
There's 4 games last year that Troy. I'll go through them in a second. That Troy could have won. All right. Troy, after being at home against Georgia Southern, which would be a great game for fans. That's a good rivalry for Troy.
Yeah.
Then Troy goes to at Texas State, that Michael just told us is pretty.
No, Texas State in Troy.
No, this is at Texas State.
Oh, is it?
That's right. It's at Texas State. They played them in Troy.
Oh boy.
That's a toss-up game to me there. I don't know who will win that.
Do they play them in Troy or do they play them
at
No, they play them at San Marcos.
I think they'll lose that game. But even though they played them well since they've been playing.
Okay.
Yeah, Lindsey has blown them out every time he's played them, so he's got their number.
Okay.
Then the road trip continues on 12 days later, though. Troy gets 12 days to prepare for Coastal Carolina at Coastal Carolina.
Loss.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing at Troy, Mike.
Nope.
No, at Coastal.
Oh, okay. I get mixed up on these games.
All right, then we go. Troy plays at home against South Alabama.
Now, here's that string of home games right here.
That's right. All right, I think
Troy
so too.
needs to do well down the stretch here.
And Louisiana, which formerly known as Louisiana Lafayette.
Loss.
Okay.
At home. That you're talking about them coming to Troy and winning.
The Alabama of the Sun Belt the last couple of years, Appalachian State here in T. Roy.
Appalachian State will win that one. They got too many more athletes than Troy.
Has Troy beaten Appalachian State?
They beat them Neil Brown's second year when Troy went 11-2. They beat them at home, but it was a miracle comeback to beat them.
Yeah.
We need to beat those guys. All right, last game of the regular season for all the marbles on our little bet here at Georgia State. So that's in Atlanta.
Troy really is struggling with Georgia State. I think they've lost 3 in a row to them.
Yeah, probably.
It's just a shootout.
Georgia State beats Troy.
Now, Troy's going to be better on defense. Remember this. No question that they're going to be better on defense. But when you get in there with Georgia State, it's a shootout. It's a shootout. And Troy's got
Georgia State's just real physical. They got so many great athletes.
Yeah.
So it looks like that's around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got this. Y'all's total has Troy going the best 7 and 5. Or 6 and 6.
So that's
right. That number is perfect. Then it's 6.5 right between those.
That'll be a tight one.
I'll tell you, these Vegas guys, they know how to set a number. They know what they're doing.
But if Troy gets on a roll, look out. I tell you what, and I had a long visit with Chip this week, and he's very confident. He likes his Troy team.
I'm gonna put a little smiley face on your page here for Troy.
And he's ready.
I got Troy going 6 and 6. I don't have them over the 6.5 wins for a lot of
I'd be afraid of them. I'd be afraid of them because of that schedule. And you can have the best team in the world and have a tough schedule, and you're mediocre.
Okay.
It's a brutal schedule. Toughest schedule he's had by far as a head coach.
Yeah, that's right. A great, you fans out there, the best deal in the world is football tickets for Troy. They start off at just $60 a season ticket. Boy, you can't beat that. That's quality entertainment, no question about it.
Troy's season really comes down to that Liberty game to me. I know it's ridiculous to say something that early, but if they can find a way to beat Liberty, I think 7 wins is definitely a possibility. But if they lose to Liberty and go 1-1 going into Southern Miss, you're talking about a lot of pressure on that coaching staff.
What is your feeling about the coach, Liberty coach? What is your feeling about him? Huh?
Oh, I think Hugh Freeze. If he didn't have the off the field issues with calling different ladies of the night.
Really?
Yeah, if he didn't have that, and he didn't have the recruiting probation issues at Ole Miss, I think he'd be in a Power 5 job immediately.
And remember, this is Jerry Falwell's university. This is a Baptist.
Yeah, well, Falwell's gone as well.
Little Jerry Falwell Jr. was worse than Hugh Freeze.
He's still there, though, isn't he?
No, they got rid of him. He's awful.
We could have a different show about that one day, could we, Russ?
If you read a couple of the allegations, you talk about look in the dictionary under the word hypocrite or not living up to your standards, you'll see his picture. All right, I'm going to go through Troy's results last year, and what does Bill say? Look at their records last year and see how competitive they were in their losses. If you've got a team that lost a lot of close games, the luck is going to even out the next year if they got a good coach. So look at some of these Troy losses. 5 and 6. They got stomped by BYU at BYU. Then they got stomped by Appalachian State. So that's 2 of the losses. But here's the other ones. Georgia State, Troy loses 34-36. Georgia Southern, Michael just talked about it. Troy loses 13-20 when they had every chance to win that game.
Should have won that game.
Middle Tennessee. Heck, this kid's... Troy had blown out Middle Tennessee in the first game, and then the rematch in Troy, they lose 20-17 by a field goal.
I know they claimed a lot of COVID issues in that game. A lot of players didn't play, but still.
Yeah, that's right. That's another thing. COVID was a factor in a lot of these games. Thanks, Michael.
When Troy beat them, I think it was a closer game than did they beat us bad?
No.
No, Troy beat them by 30 points at Murfreesboro start the season, and then they turned around and lose to Troy, and Troy scored a late touchdown to make it 20-17.
Yeah, okay.
That probably was a COVID loss right there. Chalk that one up to the protocol. Then Troy loses. I don't even like talking about it. It bothers me. To Coastal Carolina, the darling of college football last year, 42-38, when Coastal Carolina zips right down the field about 80 yards in about 90 seconds.
Well, no timeouts. They scored in 40 seconds.
What do you think they did, though? What was their fault? What did Troy how did Troy mess up like that?
They win the
prevent defense. Said they didn't blitz. They gave the quarterback all back there.
That's right.
You know what I've also said? Y'all got to listen to me now. I say interesting things if you just don't tune me out. What have we talked more about in the last couple of weeks than anything? The transfer portal, right?
Yeah.
Coastal Carolina passes right down the field, beats Troy. You think Troy could have used a little defensive back called Marcus Banks in that series?
Marcus Jones.
Marcus Jones, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Transferred to Houston after his freshman year and is now an all-conference preseason player and an all-American kick returner.
And I tell you something else, he would have probably run back a
kick, yeah. Or changed field position.
He ran back 2 in one game against him.
What do you mean, over Coastal?
I guess any of those losses, Marcus Jones would have at some point made a return in the kick that made a loss into a win.
How in the hell?
But you know who beat Coastal Liberty in the bowl game.
Yeah. Yep.
But you know what? How did they get to be so good? I think they went from very mediocre program to a very good.
The biggest issue is they're not in the conference, so they can, as far as grades and bringing in players, they can bring in guys from all over the place.
Are they still not in the conference?
Liberty?
They're not in the conference. They're an independent.
No, I talk about Liberty, though. I'm talking about Coastal. How in the world does Coastal do what they do?
Liberty is not in the conference.
But he's talking about, how did Coastal get so good then?
Yeah.
Coastal's benefiting from the fact they were 1AA and came into Division I. So that made a big difference for them.
Didn't they one time?
They had a lot of guys that were fifth-year seniors that were originally 1AA guys they brought in, and the rules were a lot different then, as far as who you could get in school.
Is this the program where they had the first coach that had never even been a football coach?
Yeah,
he was the guy that was the CEO of Ameritrade.
Yeah. So you have a business executive who has not one day of coaching experience that builds, not only gets hired as a coach somehow. I guess he wrote him a check, or he is a very good coach, which kind of proves.
You're saying he wrote the NCAA a check?
I'm saying he wrote Coastal Carolina big checks, lots of big checks, and they said, "All right, if you could keep writing us these checks, we'll hire you as the head football coach."
Yeah, Mike, I think you answered the questions. The rules that Coastal had coming from a 1AA team to a 1A team was quite a bit, and they were able to bring in a lot of players that normally they wouldn't be able to get.
I'll tell you, it's an amazing story to go from. I had never heard of Coastal Carolina, 6 years ago, and now they're top 20 team in America.
You're talking about Omaha. They won the national championship in baseball, so everybody knew them from that.
That's right, exactly right.
What is the Chanticleer? Chanticleer is like a big rooster?
Yeah, that's right. Their basketball program is well known because of a guy, Cliff Ellis.
He's their coach there.
Maybe. Cliff Ellis has got a beach home just a few, not very far from mine. And he's a hell of a guy, that guy.
I used to see him at Troy football games. He must know a lot of people in Troy, and he would come.
It was next door neighbors with Buck and Jane Corley for years.
Yeah, at the beach, and a lot of other people there were related to him, or not related to him, but big fans of his. And he's a guitar player and
a singer. Good one.
And he still loves to do that about as much as he loves to coach football.
He's a great story. But Coastal Carolina is an example of how athletics can change a whole university, which changes the whole town.
And it is a beautiful area.
And Troy could have a season. I keep saying it. Last year I predicted Troy was going to run the table, so that shows. But can't Troy do exactly what Coastal Carolina's done, Mike?
Yeah, but listen, before we go off the air, I want you to do this. We're going to have some buildings knocked down. Tell us about it, right?
Oh, yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, here we go.
I never learned the names of the dorms, but they're the kind of eyesore dorms that are right behind the parking lot, behind the press box of the football stadium.
Yeah.
The dorms where the medical clinic used to be in.
That's right.
Those two dorms that are being raised right now. Also, they're kind of diagonal from the Adams Center, and the natatorium is being raised.
Where that swimming pool is.
Which I actually reported this months ago in a Troy Life story I did on the beautification of Troy's campus. I talked to the director of the facilities, and he told me months ago that they were going to do this, and so they're finally doing it. So it's going to really change that area of the campus, because everybody rides by it. If you turn at Riddle Pace Field and go back to the lagoon and weave around the Adams Center, you'll now see green space is what it's going to be, and maybe parking. And they say they might build one of these manufacturing processing buildings to help KW Plastics where the natatorium is.
All right. They also have the
man, that will be
MacArthur Hall.
Definitely different to look at for sure.
MacArthur Hall, I believe that's where the
natatorium
is, and we got to.
The natatorium was in rough shape. I don't know if anybody's been in it in a long time. I did tour it for old time's sake, and for a long time it was rough. Now the natatorium is going to be torn down. You know, the natatorium attaches to the old basketball arena, the basketball gym.
Yeah,
that's not going to be torn down. Just the natatorium part of it.
Before we get off the air, Dad, we got 73 days, 9 hours, 34 minutes, and now 43 seconds before we start the season.
All right, man, appreciate it. But he said that new buildings for health sciences will be built on the site of Gardner Hall and Hamill Hall. Those are the two old dorms that I think they're going to be demolishing, and we'll get into this even more tomorrow.
Yeah. And y'all go out and buy a car from Jason Greger and Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep. They got a great sale going on today. Go eat lunch at Sister's Restaurant. Go eat breakfast at Bird's Drugs. I'd like to do all those things today.
Exactly right, and I'll tell old Rice, don't get any better than Bird Drugs for breakfast. And,
No. They are so.
That's what we're going to do.
It's a civic treasure and a business treasure. Bird Drugs on the square.
And I tell you what, I love growth and expansion, and that's what we look like we're going to get at Troy. And those two buildings that we mentioned were old buildings,
and they weren't pretty. They were. I mean, let's tell it like it is. They were just as nondescript as you could be.
And they were up front, right in front of each other, about 40 yards apiece.
My wife lived in that dorm, one of those dorms for a year when she was a student at Troy.
Yeah. But it's going to be fun, and again, Troy, it looks like it's going to get better and better with
these people that have a vision for this Troy campus. They have got a great vision. So, I mean, you just look at what they've done today. I would say, keep doing whatever you've been doing.
That's right. They'll spread it out more too. All that was congested in there, and we'll spread it out a lot better. Sorry, a little bit about
we got to go, don't we, Mike?
And of course, we want to mention Brundage Country Club, and they do a great job. We'll see you tomorrow.
Summer starts now with the spectacular summer savings sale. Over 125 new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. All priced to go today. Shop PremierTroy.com and save thousands. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts,